Okay guys, today a quick lecture on Texas independence and the emergence of the Lone Star State. And you see in front of you is the state flag, right here we have the state flag, the Longhorn, and the Alamo. Okay, very important symbols of Texas. Okay, first off we have to know Texas was a part of Mexico from its beginning. So 1821 is the year that Mexico gains its independence from Spain. It does so after fighting for 11 years against the Spanish Empire. In 1821, they established their republic. Very important that it's a republic. Okay. In 1823, they open up Mexico to what are empresarios. So we have these guys here, such as Stephen F. Austin, that are contracted by Mexico to come into Texas and to settle it. Okay, but they have to become Catholic, learn Spanish, and farm the land. Very important points. Okay. In 1824, the Mexican Constitution is adopted. It applies to the whole territory. It's very similar to the United States Constitution, so which is why a lot of Americans tend to come into the Texas territory and have no problems with it. Actually, American immigration is encouraged, such as also European immigration. Okay, so everybody's welcome so far. 1824. Only people that are not welcome are slaves. So in 1829, Mexico outlaws slavery, and it is illegal for Americans to come in with their slaves. But they're coming in large numbers anyways. So that by 1829, Americans outnumber Mexicans 10-1. Starts to, raise some red flags for Mexico, but they're not really too worried about it. They're just going to deal with it some way, right? What do? They call in the Border Patrol. So you know how currently it is difficult for Mexicans to come into the United States. Well, flip that around. Talking about 1829, it is now difficult for Americans to go into Texas, which was then a part of Mexico. So we have Mexican Border Patrol that goes, and they are stationed in Mexico, and they kind of bother a lot of the Texans, right? The Americans that are there living in Texas. On top of that, in 1833, we have new president-elect Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, who basically starts imposing all these new changes. He doesn't follow the Constitution of 1824. Makes it very difficult for Americans living in Texas. On top of that, a month after he is elected, he changes the Mexican Republic into a Mexican Empire. So it is a centralized dictatorship with its capital being in Mexico City right there where the little bang is. And you have Texas all the way over here. So it makes it very difficult for Texans to voice their concerns, get their voice heard in front of their government, which also brings up a lot of tension. This tension is culminating in 1836 with the fighting beginning in Texas. It's basically between the Federalists, which are for the Constitution, against Santa Anna, who is for a dictatorship. Okay, and here in front of you I have the Alamo, which is the site of a very important battle called the Alamo. Okay, this is where Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie and everybody who's in the Alamo gets slaughtered by Santa Anna's forces when they do not surrender. Then, in 1836, after 2 years of fighting, we have the Texans winning against the Mexicans army. They're better armed, outnumbered, and in 1836, the first president elected is Sam Houston, which is this guy right in front of you. Okay, 1839, the Lone Star State develops this new flag and adopts it as their own. So there's only one star for representing their one country surrounded by two other countries, right? United States in the north, Mexico in the south. It is its own country, guys. Until 1845, when a joint resolution in Congress annexes Texas to the United States, or so it's proposed in 1845. It doesn't happen until 1846. So February 19th, the Republic of Texas is no more, and we have a new state, number 28, that enters the Union, which causes some conflict with the United States and Mexico. Mexico didn't want it to go. The United States, of course, wanted the territory, which leads us into the next little conflict between Mexicans and Americans, known as the Mexican-American War. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. We're going to get to the Mexican-American War soon.